Hello and welcome back to the Owl's Nest. Tonight, we're settling into something warmer than usual, a slow, quiet journey through 50 facts about human attraction. The subtle signals, the invisible chemistry, and the quiet psychology behind why we're drawn to some people and not to others. This isn't about tricks or techniques. It's simply about understanding a part of being human that almost everyone experiences and almost no one fully understands, the pull toward another person, and everything quietly shaping it beneath the surface. Get as comfortable as you can, dim the lights if you haven't already, and let your body settle into stillness. Headphones are recommended so the narration and the soft binaural tones underneath can fully surround you. You don't need to remember any of this. There's no test waiting at the end. Just let each fact drift past slowly, one at a time, the way warm light drifts across a room at dusk, here for a moment, then gone, making room for the next. Take a slow breath in and let it go completely. Whenever you're ready, let your eyes close and we'll begin. Part 1. Physical and biological signals. Fact 1. Facial symmetry is consistently rated as more attractive across nearly every culture studied. This happens because symmetry has historically served as a subtle signal of good health and stable development, cues the brain still responds to instinctively. A face with evenly balanced features often draws a second glance before a person even consciously registers why it caught their attention. Fact 2. Faces that are closer to an average composite of many other faces tend to be rated as more attractive, not less. This happens because average features tend to be smoother and more symmetrical, blending out unusual or irregular details that stand out. A composite photo, blending dozens of individual faces together, is often rated as more attractive than most of the original faces alone. Fact 3. Vocal pitch plays a quiet role in perceived attractiveness, with certain pitches consistently rated as more appealing. This happens because voice pitch has long been loosely associated on an instinctive level with certain hormonal and physical traits. A deeper voice in a man or a slightly higher, breathier voice in a woman is often rated as more attractive on average, though preferences vary individually. Fact 4. Scent plays a surprisingly significant, often unconscious role in attraction. This happens because natural body scent carries subtle genetic information, and people tend to be more drawn to scents linked to genetically different immune profiles. In blind smell studies, participants often prefer the scent of shirts worn by people whose immune-related genes differ most from their own. Fact 5. A genuine smile measurably increases how attractive someone appears to others. This happens because a real smile signals warmth and approachability, qualities the brain quickly associates with safety and positive connection. Two otherwise similar photographs of the same person are consistently rated differently, with the smiling version rated as more attractive. Fact 6. Pupils dilate slightly when someone is looking at a person or something they find engaging or attractive. This happens as an automatic nervous system response to interest and arousal, occurring well before conscious awareness catches up. In dim lighting especially, slightly wider pupils are often unconsciously read by others as a subtle sign of interest. Fact 7. Preferences around height show a mild average trend, though individual variation is considerable. This happens partly through cultural association and partly through subtle evolutionary cues linked to protection and resource access in ancestral environments. Average survey data shows a slight general preference trend, though real-world attraction consistently overrides these averages in individual cases. Fact 8. Open, relaxed body language measurably increases how approachable and attractive a person appears. This happens because open posture signals confidence and ease, while closed or guarded posture can unconsciously signal discomfort or distance. Someone standing with uncrossed arms in a relaxed stance is generally perceived as warmer and more approachable than someone standing rigidly closed off. Fact 9. First impressions of physical attraction often form within a fraction of a second of seeing someone. This happens because facial processing in the brain is remarkably fast, forming an initial impression well before conscious, deliberate evaluation begins. Studies show that judgments of attractiveness made from a 100-millisecond glance closely match judgments made after much longer observation. Fact 10. Physical attraction and perceived personality traits are often unconsciously blended together in first impressions. This happens because the brain prefers simple, consistent judgments, so an attractive appearance often gets unconsciously paired with assumed kindness or competence. An attractive stranger is often initially assumed to be more intelligent or trustworthy, an impression that may or may not hold up over time. Part 2. Psychological and emotional pull. Fact 11. Similarity in values, background, or interest tends to draw people together more reliably than difference does. This happens because shared perspective reduces friction and increases predictability, making a connection feel easier and safer to build. Two people who discover a shared specific interest early in a conversation often feel an immediate, disproportionate sense of connection. Fact 12. Simple, repeated exposure to someone tends to increase attraction over time, a pattern called the mere exposure effect. This happens because familiarity reduces uncertainty, and the brain generally favors what feels familiar and predictable over what remains unknown. Two co-workers who see each other daily often develop a growing fondness that neither can fully trace back to any single moment. Fact 13. People tend to feel drawn toward those who show clear signs of liking them first. This happens because being liked satisfies a basic social need for validation, and reciprocated interest feels rewarding on its own. Simply learning that someone finds you interesting often measurably increases how interesting you find them in return. Fact 14. Emotional vulnerability, shared gradually, tends to accelerate closeness far more than surface-level conversation. This happens because revealing something personal signals trust, and trust tends to be met with reciprocal openness in return. A structured conversation involving increasingly personal questions has been shown in research settings to create closeness remarkably quickly between strangers. Fact 15. A good sense of humor is consistently rated as one of the most attractive personality traits across genders and cultures. This happens partly because humor signals intelligence and social ease, and partly because shared laughter itself creates an immediate bonding experience. Two people who laugh together early in an interaction often report feeling more connected than the conversation's content alone would explain. Fact 16. Confidence expressed calmly, rather than loudly, tends to be read as a marker of underlying value and stability. This happens because steady self-assurance signals competence and security, qualities that feel reassuring in a potential partner. Someone who speaks plainly and directly, without needing constant reassurance, is often perceived as more attractive than someone visibly seeking approval. Fact 17. Shared laughter appears to synchronize physiological states between two people, deepening a sense of connection. This happens because genuine laughter triggers a release of feel-good neurochemicals, shared in real time between the people experiencing it together. A couple who still laughs easily together, even years into a relationship, often reports feeling closer than couples who rarely share this experience. Fact 18. A small amount of uncertainty in early attraction can intensify interest, at least in the short term. This happens because unresolved uncertainty keeps attention actively engaged, a pattern sometimes described by researchers as limerence. Someone who isn't entirely sure of another person's feelings may find themselves thinking about them more, not less, as a result. Fact 19. Feeling genuinely seen and understood by another person is one of the most consistently reported drivers of deep attraction. This happens because most people carry an underlying wish to be known accurately, rather than simply admired from a distance. A partner who remembers small, specific details about your life often creates deeper attraction than one offering only generic compliments. Fact 20. Attraction is often shaped as much by how someone makes you feel about yourself as by their own individual qualities. This happens because emotional experience gets subtly linked to the person present during it, coloring how they're remembered afterward. Someone who consistently leaves you feeling lighter, calmer, or more confident after time together is often remembered as more attractive over time. Part 3. Social and contextual influences. Fact 21. Physical arousal from an unrelated source can sometimes be mistakenly attributed to attraction toward another person. This happens because the body's arousal response feels similar, whether it comes from exercise, excitement, or nervousness, and the mind looks for context to explain it. In a well-known field study, people who met on a wobbly, high-suspension bridge reported more attraction than those who met on a stable, low one. Fact 22. Knowing that others find someone desirable can subtly increase your own perception of their attractiveness. This happens because social proof shortcuts individual evaluation, borrowing confidence from the visible interest of others. A person described as highly sought after is often rated as more attractive than the identical person introduced without that detail. Fact 23. Limited availability, whether real or perceived, can increase how desirable someone appears. This happens because scarcity triggers the same value-boosting response with people that it does with objects or opportunities. Someone perceived as difficult to win over within reason is sometimes found more compelling than someone who seems effortlessly available. Fact 24. Novel or unusual shared experiences tend to intensify attraction more than familiar, routine activities. This happens because novelty activates the brain's reward and attention systems more strongly, and that heightened state can attach itself to whoever shares it with you. Couples who try new, slightly adventurous activities together often report renewed excitement compared to couples sticking only to familiar routines. Fact 25. Individuals are sometimes rated as more attractive when seen within a group than when seen entirely alone. This happens because surrounding faces subtly shift the visual average the brain compares them against, a pattern researchers call the cheerleader effect. A person's photo shown alongside friends is occasionally rated slightly more attractive than the same photo shown in isolation. Fact 26. The emotional tone of a shared environment can quietly shape how attracted two people feel toward each other. This happens because mood and setting influence overall emotional arousal, which can then blend into feelings about the person present at the time. A calm, pleasant setting for a first meeting often leaves a warmer impression than an identical conversation held somewhere tense or chaotic. Fact 27. Shared taste in music is a surprisingly strong predictor of quick social and romantic connection. This happens because musical preference often reflects deeper personality traits and values, offering a fast, low-effort signal of compatibility. Two strangers discovering an unexpected shared favorite artist often report an immediate, disproportionate sense of closeness. Fact 28. Emotional states between two people in conversation tend to synchronize gradually the longer they interact. This happens through subtle mirroring of tone, pace, and expression, a natural process that deepens rapport over time. A conversation that starts a little awkward often settles into a shared, comfortable rhythm as both people unconsciously begin to match each other's energy. Fact 29. An overwhelming number of potential options can actually reduce satisfaction with any single choice, a pattern seen clearly in modern dating. This happens because more options increase the mental effort of comparison and can create lingering doubt about whether a better option exists elsewhere. People presented with many profiles to consider often report less confidence in their eventual choice than people presented with only a few. Fact 30. The novelty of a first encounter often creates a heightened, temporary version of attraction that naturally settles afterward. This happens because new experiences generate a temporary surge in attention and emotional intensity that isn't necessarily sustained at the same level long term. A memorable first date often feels more intense in the moment than it may end up mattering in hindsight once the novelty settles. Part 4. The deeper biology of desire. Fact 31. Many attraction patterns observed today are thought to trace back to survival and reproductive pressures faced by early humans. This happens because traits historically linked to health, safety, or resource access left a lasting imprint on what the brain instinctively finds appealing. Preferences for certain physical or behavioral traits seen consistently across very different cultures are often explained through this shared evolutionary background. Fact 32. Physical touch triggers the release of oxytocin, a hormone closely linked to bonding and trust. This happens because oxytocin plays a direct role in social attachment, reinforcing closeness during physical affection of nearly any kind. Simple gestures like holding hands or a warm embrace can measurably increase feelings of closeness between two people, even briefly. Fact 33. early-stage romantic attraction activates the brain's dopamine-driven reward system, similar to other intensely pleasurable experiences. This happens because anticipation and novelty in early attraction strongly stimulate reward pathways, contributing to that early, energized feeling. This is part of why early attraction can feel almost consuming, with thoughts of the other person surfacing frequently and unbidden. Fact 34. Hormonal fluctuations can subtly influence attraction preferences over time. This happens because certain hormones are loosely linked, on average, to shifts in what physical or behavioral traits feel more or less appealing. Researchers have observed subtle average shifts in stated preferences correlating with natural hormonal cycles, though individual variation remains considerable. Fact 35. Kindness is consistently rated as one of the most universally desired traits in a long-term partner across nearly every study and culture examined. This happens because kindness reliably signals cooperative, trustworthy behavior over time, a quality highly valuable in sustained relationships. When asked to rank partner qualities, kindness and warmth consistently outrank most physical traits in long-term preference surveys. Fact 36. Genetic diversity between potential partners appears to play a subtle role in unconscious attraction. This happens because greater immune system diversity in offspring has historically offered a survival advantage, and some attraction cues may reflect this indirectly. This dynamic partly overlaps with the earlier fact about scent, both pointing toward the same underlying biological logic. Fact 37. Early attachment patterns from childhood often quietly shape adult romantic attraction and behavior. This happens because early relationships with caregivers establish a template for closeness, trust, and safety that tends to carry forward. Someone who experienced consistent, reliable caregiving early in life often finds secure, steady partners more comfortable than someone with a more anxious template. Fact 38. Different attachment styles, formed early in life, tend to shape distinct patterns in how adults seek closeness or distance. This happens because these early patterns become a kind of relational default, applied somewhat automatically in later relationships. Someone with a more anxious attachment style might seek frequent reassurance, while someone more avoidant might instinctively create distance when things get close. Fact 39. Preferences that once served clear survival functions can persist today, even when the original circumstances no longer apply. This happens because evolutionary adaptations change far more slowly than modern environments and lifestyles do. Some preferences studied today, like certain body proportions or protective behaviors, are thought to be echoes of much older survival pressures. Fact 40. Despite wide cultural variation in beauty standards, some attraction preferences appear remarkably consistent across very different societies. This happens because certain traits, like symmetry or clear signs of health, seem to be read similarly by the brain regardless of specific cultural context. Researchers studying attraction across dramatically different cultures have still found overlapping patterns in several of these core preferences. Part 5. Attraction over time. Fact 41. The intense early phase of romantic attraction naturally settles over time into a calmer, steadier form of connection. This happens because the brain's early reward response isn't designed to remain at peak intensity indefinitely, gradually shifting toward deeper attachment instead. Long-term couples often describe their connection as quieter but deeper than the early spark, rather than as its disappearance. Fact 42. Shared core values tend to predict long-term relationship satisfaction more reliably than initial chemistry alone. This happens because values shape how two people navigate decisions, conflict, and daily life together long after early excitement has settled. Couples who initially felt only moderate spark but shared strong alignment in values often report greater long-term satisfaction than couples with the reverse. Fact 43. Asking someone for a small favor can sometimes increase their liking toward you afterward, a pattern known as the Ben Franklin effect. This happens because people tend to justify their own actions by assuming they must like someone if they've already gone out of their way to help them. Someone who helps you with a minor task sometimes reports feeling warmer toward you afterward, rather than simply neutral about the favor performed. Fact 44. Long-term couples often hold slightly idealized views of their partner, and this appears to support relationship satisfaction rather than undermine it. This happens because a degree of positive bias helps sustain goodwill and patience through the ordinary friction of daily life together. Couples who rate their partner slightly more positively than an outside observer would tend to report higher relationship satisfaction over time. Fact 45. Deliberately introducing novelty into a long-term relationship can help sustain attraction that might otherwise fade into routine. This happens because shared new experiences reactivate some of the same reward pathways involved in early attraction, refreshing the connection. Couples who regularly try new activities together often report renewed excitement compared to couples who rarely deviate from established routines. Fact 46. Emotional intimacy built through consistent vulnerability over time tends to sustain attraction long after initial physical spark has settled. This happens because ongoing emotional closeness continues to meet deep needs for connection long after novelty alone has worn off. Couples who continue sharing openly, even years into a relationship, often describe feeling more attracted to each other than they did at the very beginning. Fact 47. Attraction and trust appear to reinforce each other, each one deepening as the other grows stronger over time. This happens because feeling safe with someone allows deeper vulnerability, and deeper vulnerability, in turn, tends to deepen attraction further still. A relationship that steadily builds trust often reports growing rather than fading attraction as the years pass. Fact 48. Subtle physical mirroring between partners, like matching posture or gestures, tends to increase over time in close relationships. This happens as an unconscious byproduct of deep familiarity and comfort, reflecting how closely two people's rhythms have become aligned. Long-term couples are often observed unconsciously mirroring each other's movements far more than newer couples typically do. Fact 49. Regularly expressed gratitude between partners is strongly linked to sustained attraction and relationship satisfaction over time. This happens because feeling appreciated reinforces a sense of being valued, which in turn deepens warmth and continued investment in the relationship. Couples who make a regular habit of acknowledging small things they appreciate in each other consistently report higher relationship satisfaction than those who don't. Fact 50. Simply understanding your own patterns of attraction, calmly and without judgment, tends to lead to healthier, more fulfilling connections over time. This happens because self-awareness allows you to recognize old habits and reactions clearly, rather than repeating them automatically without noticing. Someone who reflects honestly on what draws them to certain people is often better equipped to choose relationships that genuinely support them. And with that thought, gently, we come to the end of tonight's 50 facts. There's nothing here you need to hold on to or remember. Just let all 50 of these settle quietly, somewhere in the background of your mind, the way tonight's thoughts are folding into stillness. There is nowhere to be, nothing to do, only this soft darkness and the gentle hum of sound around you. Let your body sink a little heavier into wherever you're resting. Let your breath grow slower, longer, further apart. And whenever you're ready, let go completely and drift into sleep. If you found this journey relaxing, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.